Hi, my name is Sarah Newton, and I met Gabe when he was a very little boy with very chubby cheeks and red hair. And I was much older than him going through school, but I remember him from being young, and I also remember him for his friendship with my sister, Joy. What I can tell you, my first thought when I think of Gabe is how kind he was. He would have done anything for anyone, and he was just a very sweet young man. He was as a little boy, and he was all the way through his life. And what I have to say, just concerning my sister, he was a very good friend to my sister, and he was in her wedding, and he had his hair styled crazy, but he was fun like that. But he would have done anything for her, and she knew that, and he was a very faithful friend. And so Gabe was just such a blessing in the lives of everyone he knew for his kindness and his faithfulness as a friend. So that's what I would say.
Okay, so my full name is Joy Marie Newton Morlock. Yes. So Gabe would have known me as Joy Newton. Okay. So let's see, stories. Most of my early stories of Gabe were actually when he was a annoying little dude, because I was really good friends with Cherish. So Cherish and I would hang out when we were kids, and Gabe would be there, always wanting to, you know, do whatever Cherish and I were doing. And at that point, he was, yeah, you know, typical little stinker brother to Cherish. So, but then as we got older, all of us, Gabe and I became closer friends, because he would have actually been in more of my classes at school or whatever. And Gabe was just so mellow, so you're probably hearing a lot about that, I don't know. But yeah, very kind and silly, crazy sense of humor, but like never got really upset, or was just so gentle. And I think we would always kind of try to get him upset and pick on him in one form or fashion, or tease him about something, but never. He would just get that Gabe smile on his face and laugh at us as if we were being really goofy or whatever, that it wasn't going to work to make him mad. So, but that actually was a really cool thing about him. One of my memories in high school that stands out is when I got my wisdom teeth out. I had to get all 4 of them out at the same time, and when you do that, your like cheeks puff up into these huge, like, gopher size cheeks, and it's really painful, and you're not supposed to eat anything. And I was so embarrassed that I literally didn't leave my house for a long weekend. And Gabe lived just up the road from us, so off and on through that weekend, he would come to my house, and he would sit in my bedroom in a chair in there, and he would, you know, tease me for being so silly and embarrassed about wanting to go outside. But he would just, for hours, we'd sit there and talk about whatever, or watch TV, or, yeah, and that was really cool. And I, for whatever reason, was not embarrassed about my big puffy cheeks at all when he was there. So I think he just was this really accepting person, no matter what any of us were struggling with or looking bizarre, alienish like. He just was, yay, happy Gabe about that. So I have lots of memories of, going to different camping places and wilderness fellowship. Maybe people are telling stories about trips out there. I think I was out there a couple times with Gabe and his parents there. And yeah, they just love to do anything that has to do with the outdoors. So that was good for me, because I tend to be, well, at that point in life, a little more of a priss than anything having to do with the outdoors. I'm getting a memory at the moment. Gabe taught me how to shoot a bow and arrow at their house. Very brave of him, because I still don't have any aim worth mentioning. I think Cherish was there too. It was hysterical. Yeah. So I don't know that he was very wise maybe in that moment, but it was a lot of fun. And then after high school, when I was in college, we would talk a lot on the phone. And then he went into the Army, and we would spend a lot of time talking on the phone, different places where he was at, and he was always plugged into different churches, and they were always these really neat, kind of on the edge churches, not your typical boring Sunday kind of church. They did a lot of great fun activities, and he ended up being kind of leadership in those different churches, and so that was always exciting for him. But he was so excited when he joined the Army, because it meant he was gonna, at that point he thought, go to all sorts of different places and kind of see the U.S. and the world, and he ended up in Korea. I don't know that he thought that was the most adventurous thing to go do, but we talked off and on during that time he was there too. And then we actually, I ended up getting married while he was over there, and so we flew him over to our wedding, and he was one of the groomsmen. And I think he had really funky hair.
This is the copy room.
Time out for a moment. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So yeah, he had really crazy hair. I think it was like, you know, of course he had the reddish hair, and it was like spiked up in the front, like it was a big old flame coming out of the top of his forehead. But that's who Gabe was, so we loved it. And yeah, so he was in the wedding, and then he went back to Korea, and but then, let's see, for the first couple of years after being married, we talked for a little bit off and on, and then I had my oldest daughter, Clara, and one of the last times we saw him, he came, it was winter, and he and I decided to take Clara outside. She was maybe 2 or 3, she was probably 3, and make a snowman with her. And she had this big pink puffy snowsuit on, and of course we had her bundled, you know, you could only see her little face. And we were out traipsing through the snow, and she kept falling over because she was only 3. And for a while I would, you know, do the hard work of getting her under her arms and lift her up and stick her back upright on the snow. And finally Gabe just took over, and it was hysterical, but he would just grab her by the front of her snowsuit and just whip her up off of the ground, stand her on her 2 feet, and kind of scoot her forward into getting whatever snow for the snowman. And that is my kind of my last memory of when I actually saw Gabe last. But just, yeah, so funny. And he was that practical guy who, why are we, just grab her and stick her back on her feet. So yeah, so that was 3 or 4 years ago now. But I think the thing about Gabe is that no matter how long between talking to him or seeing him, you just always fell back into where you left off. And I think even now, you know, he's certainly not here on earth anymore, he's in heaven, but I still feel like I actually do talk to him quite a bit, and it's almost as if we haven't completely lost connection there or separation there, even though he's a little bit farther away than he's ever been. It's just always as if things are what they were, and that's been really neat. And I think for a lot of us, I hope that is something we hang on to, that we can still be connected and talk to and kind of pray with or whatever, Gabe or other people that aren't with us anymore here on earth. So yeah, right after he was in the accident and died, I was laying in bed just kind of, I think I was still just talking to God about it, pretty angry and sad, and was just telling God, you know, you should have left him here. Gabe was such a beautiful guy. Everybody loved him and needs him here. And all of a sudden I heard, well, you should see me now, Joy. And was like, whoa, that's kind of creepy, but kind of cool. It certainly wasn't God saying that. I really felt like that was Gabe kind of poking fun with me that, yeah, he's even more amazing and beautiful now, and I really should wait to see him. But every now and then I get little pictures of him walking on some pretty cool hiking trails in mountains in heaven that are even more amazing than the ones he loved to hike here on earth, and that just gives me so much peace. And I think that's what he is doing, the things he loved to do here, just to the most amazing, awesome degree that heaven provides in all of that. So, and every now and then he snaps at me or snips at me that I need to not stay sad or depressed about things, but keep praying and moving forward, and that life's about living and not regrets. So anyway, so yeah, love Gabe, still do, always will, and I really think and know that he's going to be a part of my life till I get to actually see him face to face again too, and that's true for all of us. We just have to accept that, I think, and own that. So anyway, that's all I'm thinking about at the moment about Gabe. Good, good? Good. Good. Yay!